Hi, and welcome to Sandy's Numerology. In the December of 2018, I did a talk for ASA, which is an astrology foundation group, and I was telling the people then that where the collective is, it's not going to be there anymore. Shopping centres were coming to an end. Structures were going to be breaking down, and that 2019 was a year of values or valuables. And this is about how you value people, or how you are more interested in the monetary material and the disrespect that you have for other people. And then if you go and watch my South Africa 2020 video, which was filmed in January, I spoke of what 2020 means. And in there, without knowing about the coronavirus, how just South Africa was going into a year of restriction and boundaries and consolidation and less is more and simplifying our lives. And it's all about putting our lives into a different structure. And if you look at what the coronavirus is asking everybody to do, is to keep your distance. It's about the cleanliness. It's about respect. It's about valuing people. And this coronavirus knows no age, no color, no race, no religion. It has no boundaries. And South Africa, because we are fortunately at such a distance from that northern hemisphere, is probably to our advantage. And if we are going to use this number 4, which is what 2020 adds to, correctly, and on top of that, use the month of April, which is the number 4, which is to self-isolate, whether you've got the coronavirus or not, because you can choose to go and visit a friend. You don't know where they've been. You don't know who's been into their homes. And I'm not trying to create a panic. I want you to be aware. It's about touching. It's about coughing. It's about sneezing. It's about the surfaces. It's about your car. It's about anything that can actually be a carrier, because it can survive outside in the air for 2 to 3 hours on surfaces. So you have to be sensible and smart and respectful, and it's also about self-respect. This is also in the coronavirus video that we put up. I said the first case would be announced in March, and I gave out the numbers of the coronavirus, which is the 3, the 5, the 8, and the 11. And it doesn't take away some of the other numbers, but a 3 is about the collective, and 3 is something that helps something grow. The 5 is about colds and flu and import and export. The 8 is about ear, nose, throat, chest. And the 11 is about the masses. But let's look at what is a 4. A 4 is surfaces. It's about touch. We look at the number 6. The number 6 is virus, allergies, infections, animals, children. 7 is about insecurities. Oh, and a 6 is also about obsessive compulsive, to those shoppers that were disrespectful in cleaning out shelves. You do an injustice because you push up the prices of things. But getting back to a 6 is obsessive compulsive, 7 is about emotions and sensitivities, insecurities, monetary insecurities. The 8, as I said, is ear, nose, throat, chest, and it's a medical number, it's a health number, and it's an extreme number. And the number 9 is about the head, but it's also about, it's a very Buddha-ish number. It's about reading books and watching movies, being very calm and very chilled. The only number that is even more significant there is the number 1, and that's about the individual. And it's up to the individual to not allow the repercussions of each of those numbers. Now, if you add your day and your month together, and you've had your birthday in 2020, you then add 2020 to your day and your month. That will tell you where you are in your personal life and what year you are in. Your age will also tell you when you, let's say you are 59, 9 and 5 is 14, it adds to a 5. Those numbers are relative to the coronavirus numbers and where you are, and if you're a candidate, and if you could be a carrier. So in my coronavirus video, I announced that the first case would be announced in March. And if you go to my Cyril Ramaphosa video, you'll also see that I said he's in a double 4, and it's going to be about structures and restructuring and boundaries and restrictions, and it's all relative. And then he made the announcement, and funny enough, he made the announcement on a number 4 day. The day and the month and the year added to a 4, and that was about the facts. It's about lockdown. It's about restriction. It's about rules, regulations. And suddenly you've got no political rhetoric out there anymore. It's all about the people. And you're hearing every day from the powers that be and our avenues of information. For example, 702, who are getting people, religious bodies, who are also putting restrictions in. And today, which is the 19th of March, there's further restrictions on from 6 o'clock that restaurants and places serving alcohol, etc., are to be closed. So we go back to my South Africa video of 2020, saying how there would be job losses and how things are going to be changing and shifting and how we need to change our ways. And this coronavirus is actually part of the wake-up call of getting back to simplicity, getting back to kind of not going to work so that you can be in your home, be in your space, be in your life, and have a little bit of a reality check. I saw 2 women arguing the other day about they've got their kids for 6 weeks, and it was like a crime. And I'm going, she probably goes to work to get away from her children, although she probably has to work to earn. But when last was she really in touch with her children? So this is a time of really getting back in touch. And now sitting with yourself, or if you have children or partner, sitting with them and getting back in touch and doing things together around the home, Maybe it's working in the garden. Maybe it's just sitting in the garden, respecting the fact that we've got birds. See the lack of bees. Watch your garden change. Maybe even start to plant some of your own veggies or herbs. Plant a fruit tree. But we need to pull back. And that's what a 4 is. It's about setting boundaries. And I think we have, the horse has been riding us, and we now to get back on the horse and take the reins of our lives. And we need to realize the changes that are coming. And it's not about capitalism anymore. It's about human capital. It's about how we are going to change our ways and live smarter, live better. It's about making the world a better place. And it's really no more xenophobia, no more racism, no more anti. If you've got an issue, that's it. You have an issue. It's yours. But we really need to make some very serious changes. So what I want to do is now go back to the numbers of December is when the first corona case came up. And that is a number 3 month. December is a 12, which adds to a 3. So it would happen in the collective. We went to January and things were just knocking on the door. But then we got to February, which is a 2, but an 11 also adds to a 2. And this is when things started to spread. And when this virus was realized by the Chinese, they sent samples off to the science people related to the World Health Organization to assess where it came from, and it was defined that it definitely came from bats. So February being a 2 month, this is about, 2 is about how we hold hands, how we partner with people, how we share. And this started the breaking away of how we hold hands, how we share. And then we moved into March, and there again, there's this collective. This is all about manifestation, materialization, growing, and this corona is growing. So if we now go to April, April is a 4 related to 2020. Shut down, lock down, reduce, restrict, be in your own space, give people space, work from home, set up, clean out your house, start packing things that you have no use for, that in days to come there's going to be a need, because people will need clothing or need things that you have no more need for. And I'm guilty of that, so I will be doing that. It's packed, it's just got to go somewhere. But can you imagine if we here in South Africa, because our borders are closed, anybody that is coming in from overseas, if you're not a South African, you will not be allowed in. But we now need to even tighten that we close all entry. And we then, from our home going to a shop, are also going to be very restrictive and very selective in what our needs are. And if you see somebody in a queue that is not able then to have a few things, then maybe you can give a handout. But we need to shut down April, and I would say the whole of April, because this is the only way we're going to prevent this. Because if we get to May is the cold and flu month. And South Africa, we in autumn now, in March. May 5-month colds and flus, and it's the import-export. So anybody who has returned, might not have had any symptoms, but because of the lack of respect and the irresponsibility, could be feeding their contact onto those around them. And 5 is the import-export. So this does mean to say it has to cross borders, but you could be import and export. This is from a workspace. And if we get to June, June is a viral month. It's the allergy month. It's the infection month. It's about children and families. So we need to make sure that we stop things now. April is our month to shut down, withdraw, consolidate. Get more hands on the things you need to do around in your life, within your home. When last did you read a book? Time to do that. We cannot afford to get past July into August, because August is the health month. And August, we're starting to go into spring. But August here can sometimes be, for us, a lot colder at night. We're lucky we have very, very warm days in our winter, but 8 is the health month. And I've just got this feeling, because South Africa on the 31st of May, we go into a 4 personal year, which is us in lockdown and playing our part in it. Our age adds to a 5, we'll be 59 years of age. And this is the word import, export, and foreign. But we already started our shutdown, because when we are still 58 until the 31st of May, our age added to a 4, we in lockdown. So we are now going to be preventing import and export. And if I now push ourselves out to 2021, we go into a 5 personal, and there is still that element of colds and flus and import export, but we are starting to reconnect, because our age will be 60. And we're going to be connecting. People from past are coming back. We will get out of this quicker if we restrict and do what Italy took so long to do, with respect that they have a lot of elderly people, more so than most. And just today it was announced that it had over 325 new deaths overnight from the 18th to the 19th of March. We're lucky we've had no deaths in South Africa yet. Take April, we need to do a shutdown, because we can get past this. But there is a warning, because as we go to our 2021, we're still in a 5 personal, and change is what a 5 means. And to all those people that are going to resist change, well, it's tough. You're going to be pushed to change. Our age will be a 6, reconnection. People from past, reconnecting. It's almost the term, the lights are going to go on. And then we get to 2022. We're wrapping out. But a warning, 2021 is a 5-year, which is colds and flus, import and export. And we do have different strains of viruses every year. So what virus will it be next year? So please listen to the rules. Social distancing, respect of people's space, gloves, masks, wash hands. Find your own kind of spray that you can use in your home. Use sanitizers wherever possible. Everything you touch it with your elbow if need be. If you need to get into the lift, touch it with your elbow. But respect people. We're still getting into a rhythm of that distance. No need to shout at anybody. Ask people to keep a distance. Do it respectfully, because that's what you would want done to you. So remember, South Africa, we got to shut down in April. We have to. And it's not up to our president, and it's not up to the politicians. It's up to you to work with everybody, to work with one another. And it's the rules. Stick within the rules, because then self-isolation, if you're not feeling well, a lot of people will get better at home with the self-isolation. No need to go to hospital unless they are elderly. This is a real reality check. So I'm going to just pick specific years, but you can do your own and calculate that every 9 years, I'm starting with 1929, and it was September 1929, world market crash. Flip through to 1930 to 1931. Now I'm going to fast forward. September 11th happened in 2001. Repercussions in 2002 to 2003. So 2001 adds to a 3, 2002 adds to a 4, and 2003 adds to a 5. Fast forward again, we go to 2010, added to a 3. Housing, banking crisis, 2011 added to a 4. And 2012 added to a 5. We are back there. Started last year in 2019. It added to a 3. 2020 adds to a 4. And 2021 adds to a 5. For people investing in the stock market, you can literally go back and look at the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow Jones Industrial Average graphs. You can pick which you want to look at, but you could actually lay that graph of 2010, 2011, and 2012 on top of 2001, 2, and 3, and you can lay it down exactly on 2019 and now 2020. The days that the market dropped in March with respect to holidays, but markets are not always closed on weekends. People are still buying and selling. You will see the exact same days. The 3rd, the 9th, the 11th, the 13th, the 16th, etc. You can blame the coronavirus, but I'm saying take all of that out. We are in cycles, and that's never going to change. It will continue to happen for different reasons, different causes, etc., but the cycle will return. And a friend of mine, his hubby, got hold of me, wanted to know about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin took such a slap. And I started looking at the days that it was dipping, And I was just looking at Bitcoin. I know there's about 20 others. I was looking at probably the 5 that I did in 2017 on a video. You can go and look at that, because in 2017 I said that 2020 and 2021 are brilliant years for Bitcoin. And I was kind of looking at, why did Bitcoin take such a dive? Because it should be doing unbelievably well. And then I suddenly looked on the New York Stock Exchange. The owner of the New York Stock Exchange in 2009 decided to bring Bitcoin into the market. And that is why I took a dive, because of the American market affecting the Bitcoin. And it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't be on the stock market. But because of the American numbers versus the days of the dives, Bitcoin went with it. But this is all about the leveling of the playing fields. As I said just now, we're going from capitalism to human capital. This is where there's going to be more respect for the masses. And it's going to be about equality and being equal and not judging anybody. So now, with the stock markets, people are losing a lot of money, being obsessive compulsive about what they should do. But the markets are not going to be any better. The worst times for the markets started December of 2019, February 2020, March 2020, April, some bad days, some lockdown days. May, not good. And then I'm in a June, erratic, July, it's all over the place. It's up, it's down, it's running around. And August we start going to extremes. September is major. September, October, November, December this year, stock market in a bad place. Gold, we are in 2020, and 2020 is about earth, metal, and wood. And gold, I always say gold is like insurance. You buy in the long term. Yes, you want to play on the side, but generally speaking, you go with the ups and you go with the downs. And we look at how coronavirus could affect mining, which could push the price up. And just in January to March, we've gone into the 1600s, but we're back down on the 19th, down to 1400. So there's been quite a loss there relative to what's happening on the New York Stock Exchange. So gold is something, or silver is something worth buying, and just maintaining an equilibrium there. But we are back at a September 11th, but it's called the coronavirus. I don't think the coronavirus is the reason of the stock market. I just think that this is a cause and effect of what is going on. But there's another power that's going on, and there's a lot of games that are being played there. And that's also going to have an effect. But our lives are changing. And it's time that we need to pull back, get back on the horse, ride this horse, because 2021 is going to be a difficult year. And this is global. I'm talking as a South African from South Africa, but this whole video is about every country. There's no country that is not going to be affected. But we now need to make some serious changes. How we live, how we value We can't be expecting electricity, can't be expecting water. We've got to get into a reality check here. And that's what a 4 is all about. This is going to bring industries to their knees. The old industries, the brown industries, the old ways of working. It's all changing. And it's going to change fast. And we have to stay on top of it. So remember, distance, respect of distance with people. Washing your hands. And there's many little formulas that you can have around your home, tea tree and alcohol or distilled water, just spraying. There's many other things you can use in your home. But if you go to a shop and there's sanitizers, you must use them. Thank you for watching Sandy's Numerology. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click on the bell icon for notification of any new shows.